breaking up.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I know that you are kind of in a predicament right now where you have to be going back and forth for special circumstance. So we will make the best of it. So tell us about being in pageantry growing up and being very immersed in that. Was it the same as kind of how they viewed that Netflix movie Dumplin' with Jennifer Aniston? Did you see that? And was it kind of adjacent to the pageantry life, or was it just not realistic at all?
I actually only watched part of Dumpling, but I will say in terms of mothers living vicariously through their daughters, that was not my mom. She wasn't really grew up in the art, so to speak, or doing artistic things of that nature. You know, her generation was the older, go to school, work hard, graphstone, do anything out of science and math and that thing. I'm the more artistic one, so I was really the one pushing for that when I was younger. And so it was really involved that she was super, like that but I wasn't a mean pageant girl, but I was very competitive because it's almost like a subculture the way that professional wrestling is.
Yes.
It's your own lingo. You got heels and faces for sure. You got to watch out for some girls. You got to watch out for some judges. It's the same thing. It's just a different way of presenting it. And especially if you're a singer, that was my talent. I would always sing. And it got to a point where it wasn't fun anymore because girls were just starting to get into that kind of teen mean girl mode, and people sabotaging people's dresses and doing mean things like putting things in their water bottles, and it was just becoming a bit much. And that was also the time that I was really transitioning more into doing theater and acting at school, and I, once that bug hit, I was like, well, you got to pick one or the other because it's a huge time commitment, trying to balance school and pageant training, all my extracurriculars, because we're, like you said, Southern tradition. So church was 3 or 4 times a week in addition to school and everything else. So, that schedule got to be really hectic. And I never, was a super, super big winner, but, I did get a lot of miscongeniality. And I also would usually place second or third for talent stuff. So it was fun. I wish I had hung with it when I had gotten into color guard in high school because I would have loved to have been able to, do that as my talent. But I've had a very eclectic entertainment life. I actually modeled when I was younger. There was a brand called Girlfriends LA, and I don't even think they're around anymore. But
is that how you got published?
That was the first time, when I was younger. So it was a really interesting experience. They had done some kind of little talent thing in North Carolina in the mall. I'm showing my age right now. And and I remember we were in the mall because I was going to take pictures at JCPenney. Oh my God. So old. And they had a guy who had a table set up outside and was signing people up to come and do stuff. So I was really excited and I'm gonna try this. Can I, do this thing? And she's like, another thing. What on earth? I kind of looked for girls who were plus size because during time when you're a full child and have clothes for children who were larger, you wore the biggest size of teenage clothes, sometimes were a bit to adult, or, you had to wear some old lady looking stuff. And so they were really trying to push the whole plus size tween thing. So, I fit the demo, but it was fun. And then that kind of just kept happening. I did modeling all through college, all through high school. It was, I was in modeling troops. It was a lot of fun. And I fell into wrestling because the modeling troupe that I was in, he was also a professional wrestler, and I had no idea because we had no interaction about wrestling. And so when I finally got the chance to, get into it, I was right there adjacent. It's all connected.
I am so envious. It's crazy. 1 second, please. I'm so sorry, That's so weird. The door to my studio just like blew open. I swear it's haunted. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm so envious because like the little girl in me was not girly. I didn't have any sort of like makeup training. I didn't have any of that modeling training. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup growing up. It was forbidden. And just basically like special occasions like Halloween or maybe if I was lucky, Christmas. So, and like looking at me now, it's hilarious. Like all my stuff.
I'm like, how, girl? Your face is always beat. I'm like, what?
No. Half the time in wrestling, I look at like my photos, and fans will probably find this hilarious. I feel like I'm like the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, where I'm like, like I just feel like that's like what my face looks like. And it got to the point in wrestling where I was like, girl, just be like Tom Gunn and make it work. And so I would start so I would literally start just messing up my makeup on purpose. So I'm like, well, it's gonna end up like that anyway. Might as well be my own fault. Instead of looking just haggard and ratchet.
Right, and crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, like I did like all kinds of like sports and stuff, and I read books, and like I was like the captain of the debate team and Amnesty International and photo club and like the track team and softball. So I can understand being like super busy, but like none of those things were like specifically entertainment oriented. I mean, I guess like the public speaking stuff was very beneficial, and I did drama club, but I didn't get the stuff that you did with the modeling and the performing and all that kind of stuff. So to me, it's like you were just meant to be a wrestler. I mean, it's like all of those things. It was just like, okay, Roni, here you go. This is your plot in life. What can you do with it?
Do something with it. Yes, and it's so weird, especially as I get older and I think about like the different things I did when I was younger and like how hard it was for me to try to juggle all those things. I think it was honestly just so that I had a little bit of experience to lead me to wrestling, you know? Yeah. So I wasn't supposed to become a master at all of them, but I was supposed to become very adept to everything so that once I got to wrestling, you know, I had a good foundation and it was a little easier for me to kind of pick up, you know, bumps and things because my body already knew how to move through dance. You know, I wasn't afraid to cut promos because when you're singing in front of thousands of people, you know, as a kid, you gotta figure it out, you know? So it's not really different in terms of, you know, setting you up for success in that way. So, you know, but you have the same thing because to speak and come up with arguments, that's why your promos are always, excuse my language, fucking fire, because you know, fucking turn it on. Your brain is so quick. And hello, track, girl. That's why your matches go so long, okay? And that's why you run gets 8 to 12, and that's all you got. All right.
Oh, girl, I need them to be long because those quick little 5-minute matches where it's like, I can't do that anymore. Like, lung disease got me. It got me hard.
Oh, let me just round and pound and get out of here.
Be like, peace. No, it's just crazy. I always loved acting and wrestling. It's something I always talk about with people on the podcast because I think when you're a kid, you don't know how the world works, but you know you're interested in certain things, but you don't know why. And then when you get and become an adult, you kind of have to leave the kid you were behind for a little while to figure who you're supposed to be as an adult. And then you go out into the world and figure out what it actually is. Because you have rose-colored goggles on for so long. And, you know, everybody tells you when you're 18, you're now an adult. It's like, no, you still don't know your own hand from your elbow. Like, don't put that kind of pressure on 18-year-olds. Come on. Like, you still don't know anything. You're 18. You know, half of us don't even know how to do our own laundry at that age, although I did. But, you know, so you go out and you're supposed to figure it out, right? But I think when you're a kid, you have these interests for a reason, like what you were saying. It kind of led you to wrestling. And for me, it was like, okay, track was going to give me good conditioning. Softball was going to give me good conditioning. Drama club was going to work on my acting skills. Public speaking was so I could not be afraid. I would never be afraid for performing. And I always loved people and like all this other stuff. So it makes sense. But it's like, wow, as a kid, like you don't put 2 and 2 together because you don't know yet. Right. And then when you look back, you're like, so that's what that is.
That's right. You know, those epiphanies. And it's so fun because they're like at 18, you're considered an adult. And I'm like, I'm 33 and I still don't consider myself an adult. Like, I had no shipwreck 2 mornings last week. Like these are not adult things. Like sometimes it's like, wow, all the things that we learn, it keeps evolving. You know, there are truly levels to life, and as we keep progressing, you look back and you see how you're just stacking on top of what you have, but we still don't know a lot in the grand scheme, of the world. It's crazy. It's so crazy, especially in 2020, girl. I don't know about you, but I'm ready. New Year's hit me.
Every month that goes by, I'm like, okay, next level of Jumanji. Whoever's turn it is, please roll the dice and end the game.
It's like in the beginning where they're like, oh, spiders, oh, the flood, oh, I have a tail now. Like everything keeps getting